Hey, hey everyone. I am live. I haven't been live in so long. We won't go into details of why, but I'm going to take my time. I'm going to do some research with you and I'm going to talk because I'm getting ready to be going live, doing my videos, getting everything in order to get back established and to update you on what is needing to be gracefully exposed because of course you know this channel is called Graceful Exposure. So I'm doing my best to gracefully expose things, but not trying to be um, a judgmental person or a gossipy person or just trying to follow the trend on social media of what to talk about. There's so much going on in the world today. There's the Diddy trial. There's R. Kelly getting hurt in jail. There's Trump. There is the political parties. I'm going to be using my camera right here, my phone rather. And I'm going to start off with something that is probably going to trigger a lot of emotions one way or the other. Don't mind me. I'm real comfortable. I'm in my home, just chilling on a Sunday. And I just want you to just pay attention to what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to try to slow my roll, slow it down, because I want you guys to get what I'm gracefully trying to expose. And I want you guys to comment, subscribe to the channel, like the video. If you're interested in more videos, make sure you mention that because I'm going to be talking about a variety of topics from this day forward. I don't know about you, but sometimes we go through those spells, those trials that demand your attention. This year was the first year I went through such a tremendous test. The last couple of months, I thought everything was over with. I finally got my engine in my Mercedes put in after I had not had my engine for an entire year. And I got it put in with no charge. I didn't have to pay for it. I won. So if you know anything about me, I fight until I win. Some of you give up too easy. I remember one time that I gave up because I listened to someone else get in my ear and say, it's okay to give up. It's okay to do it again. You're overwhelmed right now. And that one time I did that, I regret it because it wasn't me. It's not me to just throw in the towel. If I get something, it's always because I put the pressure on and I fought to get it. And when you've lived a life that everything you get never comes easy for you, some things come sometimes, but you just don't remember those things because they're so few and far between. And if you're like that, if you're a person like that, I believe, and this is my personal opinion, that you're a chosen vessel and you're chosen to break through principalities and powers and spiritual wickedness in high places and rulers of darkness in this world. You want to know where I got that sentence from? I got it from the King James Version of the Bible. Go back, rewind this, pull up a few of those words, and you'll find that scripture where it is. But watch this. I'm going to talk about this, and then I'm going to get off of here just as quickly as I got on. But listen to this, okay?
So you thought this was just going to affect immigrants because we're the only one that get Medicaid, Medicare, Head Start, free lunches, federal assistance
Yes.
for to go to school. Yep, it sounds right. Okay, it's all of us. You bitch ass. You are so freaking hateful that you thought that everything that he said he was gonna do, it was not gonna affect you. Bitch, it affects all of us. This is your 5-4 Marvin. Come on, let's go. Like, how are you guys handling this?
Second video. Same person.
Like, they are hunting us down like animals. And are you all okay with this? Just because we look this way? Just because of our names? Like, what? I'm so angry. Like, there is so much rage. videos of raids and construction sites, like on the street, and by Proud Boys, by white supremacists. They're hunting us down because we look this way, because we speak this way, because we go like. I don't understand how people are still defending this man. Like, I don't get it. Make me understand. Because I can't. I cannot wrap my head around you hunting people down because they look the way they look.
Wow, let's stop right there. Okay, this
Like,
woman,
what?
she is stating, help her to understand. That's why I'm here. Help her to understand why they're hunting people down like animals. And at first, she had the attitude and she called us out of our name. Let me play that again for you. Hold up. Let me just play that again. I want you to get the real effect of this. Here we go.
Still doing. So you thought this was just gonna affect immigrants because we're the only one that get Medicaid, Medicare, Head Start, free lunches, federal assistance for like to go to school. Yep, it's us, right? Okay, it's all of us. You bitch ass. You are so freaking hateful that you thought that everything that he said he was gonna do, it was not gonna affect you. Bitch, it affects all of us. This is your Papa Marvin.
That's her first impression. Bitch, you thought it was only going to affect us. It affects all of us. It affects you as well. Bitch. That's her expression. Now, you just heard it. This is her expression now.
Hunting people down because they look the way they look. Like, what? Did you vote?
She said she couldn't understand that. She couldn't understand why this is happening to them. Now, apparently, the justice system ruled that about 500,000 immigrants that were giving asylum from Cuba are able now to be deported back to Cuba. These are individuals that probably had a humanitarian pass in the past. Well, he got the decision handed to him, Donald Trump, that he could deport all of those Cubans. So now it's affecting Cubans, not just Hispanics, illegal immigrants. They did this, and this is an update. They did this. They arrived at the court hearings of some of these individuals that were going for their hearings, and they put them in vans. They were there. ICE was there to arrest them at their hearings. The judges or the court system dismissed the cases, and ICE was waiting there. Now, let me say this. If you have never lived in the United States of America, one thing we know as Black Americans is there's certain places you don't show up to because you're taking a chance with your freedom. When someone knocks at your door, as Black Americans or as myself, if I didn't invite you, if I don't know that you're coming, I am not answering my door for anyone. This is something you guys have to learn when you live in America. It could be somebody there to kill you. It could be somebody there to serve you a warrant that you know nothing about. But one thing you have to be clear on is you are now in the United States of America. There are certain things we learn because we learned as descendants of slaves to make sure that we do and that we don't do. And now with the times where they are now, we have to make sure even the more. So the first thing they're saying is that we have no sensitivity. Where are we? How come we're not protesting with them and help them to understand? Let me help you to understand this. We have been going through and struggling for years. And a lot of things people don't talk about that I'm going to gracefully expose and talk about today. Number one, some of the jobs that we had and we held and that our people held, that they worked at for minimum wage, when you illegal aliens and immigrants came into the United States, you chose to take those jobs and work for a lower wage, just not considering the community, not considering Black Americans, not considering the people that have those jobs and have to get paid minimum wage. All the time that our ancestors worked hard for us to even get paid, not as slaves, but as sharecroppers, as individuals, descendants of these Black Americans that were brought over by force. We came in a different way. We're not like you. You're not like us. No pun, no disrespect intended. But our ancestors, they came because they were forced to come. They didn't ask to be here. They didn't ask to be slaves. You all came and got a free meal ticket, free Medicare, free education, free Head Start, as that young lady talked about, with no struggle at all. And a lot of you all looked and laughed and looked down on us while you worked those construction jobs, while you worked those jobs at a lower price to survive, to get the job. I understand that you wanted to leave your country, but you came illegally. And as you came illegally, this is the thing that you chose to do. But now, with everything, the tide turning and the tables turning, you speak out against Black Americans and say, where are you? Why are you not helping us in our struggle? What struggle? This is the beginning of sorrows for you, but we have been struggling for a long time to keep roofs over our head, food on our tables, and then only to have some of us those things taken away from individuals willing to work for a cheaper labor. Now, this woman started her video saying the disrespectful word bitch. You bitches, we're all in this together, until now when she sees the consequences of what's going on. She's saying, oh, help me to understand. And they voted for President Trump, thinking all the while that they're in these cushion positions, working these jobs at these restaurants and things illegally because the Biden administration gave them a pass called catch and release. Yes, I'm well versed. I've been studying this. And the Biden administration gave them this free pass so that all these aliens and immigrants could come in illegally, sign up to vote, and many of them voted, but they didn't vote for the Biden administration as they thought when they were allowing these people to come in and giving them all these privileges, but they voted for the Trump administration. They voted their choice, and they did not know the consequences of their vote for them. I'm going to dig a little deeper at the end, but let you see some things. Just hold one moment. I'm going to let you see some more things. Watch this. This is talking about the humanitarian parole.
Breaking news, because this just happened a couple hours ago.
And I don't want to listen to just any racist statement, but I want to let you listen to some things. Hold on one moment. So I hope you're following me just for this moment. This is Graceful Exposure, and I'm asking you, give me a like, give me a subscribe, or just listen, just watch, okay? Here we go. Now, a lot of individuals that voted in this administration, they didn't realize that this would happen. So here we go.
A wave of disappointment. One of President Donald Trump's most loyal voting blocs, Cuban and Venezuelan immigrants. Now speaking out in Miami, a Republican stronghold, as the recent wave of deportations hits home and the Trump administration moved to end temporary legal status, or TPS, for more than 500,000 people who arrived during the Biden administration.
A mí es bien difícil.
Elena Conde says she came here from Cuba on humanitarian parole in 2023. Her husband, Ariel Lara, crossed the border with Mexico twice, once in 2019 when he was detained and deported, and then again in 2022. 6 weeks ago, he was taken into custody at his residency hearing.
Que vaya a ICE.
So he was given an appointment to go to ICE. You told him before he left for that appointment, you don't have anything to worry about.
Tú no has hecho nada ilegal.
You haven't done anything. Instead, he was transferred to Texas, where we spoke to him from his detention center. Ariel, ¿qué piensas sobre lo que está pasando ahora en este país, en este momento con respecto a las deportaciones? How do you feel about everything that's happening right now in this country with the deportation?
No sé cómo.
You don't understand how this could happen. ¿Qué pensaba que iba a pasar cuando ganó Trump? What did you think was going to happen when Trump won?
Él decía que él
You're saying you believed the president when he said he was going to deport criminals. Now, Elena is left behind with her daughter, 7-month-old son, and Ariel's 70-year-old grandmother, who has been a U.S. citizen for years. Together, facing a reality they never imagined.
Toda mi familia votó por Trump.
Your whole family voted for Trump. Lo apoyaba a Trump durante su campaña. Did you support him?
Yo estoy fuera.
You're outside of it. You can't vote. Pero te sientes decepcionada. Do you feel disappointed, deceived, engañada?
Me siento mal porque sé que ellos creían en él.
You feel
Me
bad
siento
because
mal.
the rest of them believed in it. It's a concern Democratic strategists are capitalizing on, with billboards like these calling Republican lawmakers traitors. Still, here in Florida, Trump won almost 70% of the Cuban American vote in 2024, along with 61% of Doral, home to the largest Venezuelan American population in the U.S.
They used us.
Adelis Ferro is the co-founder and executive director of the Venezuelan American Caucus. How is the
Now,
Venezuelan
I'm not going to stay on that. One of the things they said is that they were used by the Trump administration, that Trump said that he was going to deport criminals. Well, he never said that he wasn't going to deport other people. He never stated that. And of course, he's deporting criminals. And who can really pinpoint what kind of crimes illegal immigrants are doing, or non-illegal immigrants, or anybody for that matter? But to be a legal citizen, you have to have legal status. And you really can't blame the administration for what's going on, because when you came in, she mentioned that her husband came in 2019 illegally through Mexico, and then again in 2022. So he's been there 2 years. And I think there's like a time frame that if you've been there 2 years or less, that you will be deported. And so it's a sad situation if you find yourself in it. If I was a person in that situation, I don't want to just, be harsh or anything like that. But what I am really, really disappointed in is when individuals say, where are the Black Americans that are standing up for them? How come they're not protesting? How come they're not in this? Do you know that if we join the protest with you, that it doesn't matter what our skin color is or how we talk really good English, that we can be picked up just like anybody else? Why would we endanger our family from losing a loved one? Or why would we endanger our freedom? Why would we put our freedom on this at stake to go out there and protest against the presidency, against the whole government, and walk hand in hand with you in this protest? We value our freedom as well. And realistically speaking, we have our own problems. We have the raising of food prices. We have our own children. We have our own. And we were constantly telling you, as you guys were coming in, working for lower wage, that this was not right. This was not fair. Did the Biden administration care about this? No, the Biden administration opened the floodgates for immigration. Now, on the flip side, because I want this to be a really short video, I'm going to look up some things that I want to talk about concerning this illegal alien thing that's going on, this illegal immigration. I want you to see something like real deeply. Just tune in with me right now. President Trump just bombed and gave permission to bomb Iran. Okay, we have ourselves in the middle of what's going on in the world with Israel and all this international stuff that's going on. Okay, here we go. Let me pull this up really quickly. I don't know why my thing is not working on here, but the parole is just canceled. There's nothing they can do. Cuban Americans, nothing they can do. Here where I live on Thursdays, there are so many places where Hispanics work that are closed because we know on Thursday it's Ice Thursday. So I found that out, that this, and hopefully this information will help some people to know certain days when their ice is going out so that you won't be picked up as an illegal alien. If I was an illegal alien, I would want to have that information. This woman I want to talk about really quickly. It's a black woman that talked about how the illegal aliens are complaining, and this is her feeling on it. Here we go.
Follow the orange crack stain. The Supreme Court upheld Donald Trump stripping away the humanitarian parole from 500,000.
Sorry. Here we go.
People.
500,000 people.
Yep. They gave him the right. They gave him the green light. So now he gets to strip away the humanitarian parole rights from these people that was protecting them from deportation.
Sorry about the phone, guys.
But the even more interesting part of that story,
I want you to hear it,
is that guess who was like the first country that fell up under that? The first country that was listed was Cuba. So, isn't that ironic? Because Cubans in Florida alone, Florida statewide, they voted for Trump 70%. They voted 70% Trump. Now, nationwide, the American Cubans, they voted 54% in favor of Trump. Right? So you had this overwhelmingly support.
Well, guys, overwhelming support. So the parole was stripped, and Cubans fall right under that. And these are parolees that I think Fidel Castro is from Cuba, and they were protecting themselves from the regime, and they're saying if they go back, they're going to be killed in Cuba. And that's the reason they came and got asylum. There are so many reasons that people get asylum. But let me just speak on this. We are and have a great relationship and are connected to the country Nigeria. Nigeria has to get visas. All of those citizens that want to come here have strict visa policy to get here. And there are so many people that have come illegally that Nigerians have more stricter policy than them to get here. And I believe the Nigerian community would be a great benefit to the United States if the policy was loosened some. But they are trying to do the right thing to get here. Here we have the floodgates were open. It was a border crisis before President Trump came. There was so much going on in New York. There were people there that were stealing and looting and doing all kind of things, making the people in Chicago and New York go through so many changes. The Chicago mayor tried to get on the Republican side really quick. All I can say is it doesn't take long for tables to turn. It doesn't take long. So my message to anyone is to make sure you have some kind of identification on you when you go outside. Have it in your phone, have it on you, particularly if you have a driver's license. Take a picture of it. You don't want someone else to get I don't think, your driver's license and use it, or you don't have evidence that you are a citizen somewhere, placed somewhere that somebody can put their hands on. So it's sad that you all are going through this, but you can't blame the administration. Now I want to send like a double-edged sword, because that's what I do in Graceful Exposure. So if you can see this double edge, I want you to like the channel, subscribe to the channel, and just listen. This is what I believe, and I think this is something that's phenomenal that comes from my thinking of President Trump. I believe that President Trump, since he's been in the administration and in that office, has been sending a message. One thing he hasn't done is he hasn't loudly focused on how Atlanta, the DA, Fannie Willis, tried to criminalize him, not only him or her, but the other attorney tried to criminalize him and tried to do all kind of things against him. He could be focusing on that and discussing that and talking about that. But what he's focusing on is undoing the harm that the Biden administration did. And I don't care if you're Republican or if you're Democrat, you know that the Biden administration let everything go. It was a free for all. So many things. We looked like the poorest and the weakest country in the whole world, like we were just dummies. And I hate to put it like that, but I believe that Trump is sending a message out. And I am not pro or anti against Trump. As a matter of fact, I'm more neutral. But one thing I am is I am discerning, and I discern that he's sending a message to the world. Do not play with America. And the citizens that were born, the descendants of slaves, do have a right. They do have a right to this country. We bled our sweat and our tears, and we fought for this country. Our ancestors did, and it's in our DNA. And we did all of that, and we sacrificed, and we were sacrificed for the building of this country. You cannot take away our history and compare us to any other nation. You cannot look at us, and I say this to Africa, and say, this is your home, come back home. No, this is home. Anywhere else we go is not home. It is another country. So stop saying that this is our home. Yes, we should go to Africa and help to implement the things that need to be there industrial wise. And I can say that because I have been to Africa. I have been to Africa at least 5 times, to Nigeria. And I plan to go other places in the world. And I plan to go back to Africa, to Ghana, to different places in South Africa. And I will. But I'm going to say this. Trump is sending a message. He bombed Iran. He's sending a message. He is trying to protect America from the inside out. And when you change your position, you change your situation. Or let me say it like this. You bust a move. There were 10 lepers No, there were 3 lepers. I won't talk about the 10, but there were 3 lepers in the Bible, and I'm going to make this spiritual at the end. And they were sitting there at the gate. There was war outside of the gate, or going in, they would have to be punished because they're lepers. So they set upon themselves, amongst themselves rather, and they said, why sit we here and die? We have leprosy. If we sit here, we're going to die. If we go into the city, we're going to die. So what do we need to do? Well, I call it bust a move. And so those 3 lepers, they decided, well, we're going to go into the city, because if we sit here, we're not doing nothing to change our circumstance and our situation. So as crazy as the administration was in the last 4 years, and I can say that because it let the floodgates open to all kind of criminals and all kind of illegal immigrants, and it just showed our position in the United States is weak. There's sleeper cells, there's all kind of things that have been infiltrated in our country, and I believe that our president is sending a message. I think he's sending a message to the world. I think he's sending a message to people, and it's not just to harm people and to hurt people. We have jails and prisons that have been corrupted, and hopefully he'll do something about that as well. But it's not just to harm people that are innocent. It is because there has to be a message sent. There has to be some accountability to bring our country back to where it was. He calls it Make America Great Again. I just call it, this is the reality that we live in. So what are you going to do? I suggest, if you're an illegal alien, you need to watch and pray, because God can keep you in this country. I would not suggest you go to any hearings. And I don't want to say that illegally. I'm going to say alleged, because if you do, you're taking a chance of getting deported back. This is Graceful Exposure. I've been so glad to be with you all today. Forgive my appearance. I had to throw a hat on just to come before you and just make sure that you guys got some of this information gracefully. I hope you guys will look at the video again, and please share the video, and always, always watch the news. Prepare yourself for whatever is going to come, and stay close to your family and stay safe. This is Graceful Exposure, and I am signing out. Thank you. Bye.